There was a time when just riding this Gold Wing through Atlanta traffic made me nervous. Now something is starting to change. I'm finally getting comfortable. Before the Gold Wing, I was riding a 2014 Honda CTX 1300. I needed to get experience with bigger bike before moving on to the Gold Wing, and the CTX gave me just that. But here we are. Moving up to the Gold Wing was a huge step. More weight, more power, more technology, and a motorcycle that I know I need to respect. So at that time, I was thinking, no sense in buying a new Gold Wing, and I'm learning how to ride a new bike and scratch it up and drop it and just beat the thing up. It's pretty expensive to repair. So that's how I ended up with the CTX. But the CTX was really lacking a lot of modern features on a bike, and it just speeded up the decision to make the upgrade. I want to do some real touring, but buying a Gold Wing doesn't make you a Gold Wing rider. And that's what I've really been working on. When I say I want to become a better rider, I don't mean becoming faster. I want to become smoother with the throttle, with the brakes, looking through turns, better at positioning myself in traffic, better at anticipating what other drivers might do, and most importantly, just trying to learn how to relax. But honestly, it feels like the more tense I am, the harder the motorcycle is to ride. It doesn't need me fighting it. It needs smooth inputs, good decisions, and a rider who's looking where he wants to go. So one of the best ways I found to improve is also the simplest. Just ride. This trip out to Hiram is a perfect example. I have to drop my helmet off because my friend got small hands. He was able to install my headset in a full face helmet. So I'm gonna take it out there. You know, there's nothing extreme happening here. I'm not crossing the country. I'm not attacking some famous mountain road, the tail of the dragon and all that. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just putting miles on the motorcycle. And right now, those ordinary miles might be the most valuable ones. Every stop gives me another repetition. Every start gives me another chance to be smoother on the throttle. Every turn gives me another opportunity to look farther ahead and trust the bike. Every lane change makes me think about what's happening ahead of me, beside me, and behind me. That's practice. It might not look like practice, but it is. Yeah, I know she's a beaut. Eat your hearts out, boys. Yeah. Yeah, this is what a dream come true feels like. So, from my heart of hearts, something has started happening during these rides that I think is a pretty good sign. I'm thinking less about the Gold Wing when I'm riding. When I first got this motorcycle, I was constantly aware of its size. I thought about the weight. I thought about where I was going to put my feet down. I thought about parking. I thought about tight turns. I thought about whether if I had enough room. Basically, I spent a lot of time thinking about the motorcycle itself. Now I'm beginning to think more about the ride. Now, I'm watching the car ahead. I'm looking at the next intersection. I'm checking mirrors. I'm paying more attention to my lane position. I'm looking farther through the turns, and I'm thinking about possible problems before they even become problems. That's a big change for me. I'm starting to ride the Gold Wing instead of mentally managing the Gold Wing. Another thing I'm learning is just how much this motorcycle rewards smoothness. If I'm abrupt with the controls, I notice it. Uh, if I'm too rough with the throttle, the bike wants to jump from under me. 1800 cc's. If I'm tense, I notice it. It's harder to ride. But when I relax, look where I want to go, and use the controls smoothly, the Gold Wing starts to feel much smaller than it really is. Of course, that, it isn't any lighter. I still respect the weight at low speed. I still think about where I'm stopping. I still pay attention to the slope of my parking space. I just don't want to get careless. But I'm no longer spending the whole ride intimidated by this motorcycle. And I don't think confidence suddenly arrives one day. I think you build it out of hundreds of moments. A clean turn, a smooth stop, a good lane change, seeing traffic slow down before everybody starts hitting the brakes, recognizing that a car might pull out before it actually does, choosing a better lane position because you can already see a situation happening. You collect enough of those little experiences, and eventually things that required a lot of thought begin to feel normal. And I think that's where I'm getting with the Gold Wing. And I'm not finished, definitely not an expert, but I'm getting more familiar and way, way more comfortable. But there's a whole nother side to becoming comfortable. I don't want comfort to turn into complacency. There's a big difference between saying I feel comfortable riding this bike and saying I've got this whole motorcycle thing figured out. I definitely don't have it all figured out because we have a different mission, something way bigger that we're working towards. Now the XMAX is like total opposite. It's half the weight, and I tend to be a little more playful when I drive it. And with all this luggage and equipment, you would think it's being prepared for an expedition. That's because it is. I'm preparing this scooter and myself as a rider to participate in the 2027 ADV Cannonball. riding the XMAX has taught me something very useful. Confidence doesn't automatically transfer from one motorcycle to another. Something that feels completely natural on the XMAX can still require concentration on the Gold Wing, and that's okay. The answer isn't forcing confidence, it's experience. I'm starting to notice that experience most when I'm riding the Gold Wing in traffic. Earlier on, traffic made me feel like I had to think about everything at the same time. The motorcycle, the cars, the controls, my lane, the next stop, where my feet were going, people doing crazy stuff in intersections, pulling out in front of you, opening doors. Now, more of the motorcycle itself is becoming automatic, like muscle memory. And that leaves more attention for what's actually happening around me. I'm trying to look beyond the car directly in front of me. 4-8-12. I'm watching brake lights further up the road. I'm watching cars coming towards intersections. I'm paying attention when somebody starts drifting towards the edge of their lane. Then there's Atlanta after dark. Night riding changes the whole environment. The roads might be the same, the motorcycle is the same, but the information coming at you is different. Headlights are coming towards you. Headlights are behind you. There's glare. There's section of road where visibility drops. Road markings can look different. Pedestrians are harder to see. And sometimes it's harder to tell what another driver is about to do. Let me not forget the fact that I'm on a dark bike. I know it's got bright lights in front, but it ain't enough lights on it stock from the factory. People are on their phone, they're partying the music, they're eating a pizza, you got tinted out windows. Make yourself seen. This was taught to me in my motorcycle course, and I'm constantly striving to keep practicing and staying aware. that long ago, I probably would have looked for a reason not to take the Gold Wing through Atlanta at night. Now I'm starting to see it differently. It's another environment I need experience riding in. That doesn't mean I'm looking for an unnecessary risk, and it definitely doesn't mean I'm trying to prove that I'm fearless. It means learning to deal with normal riding conditions while staying within my abilities and riding in my skill. So I'm slowing things down, leaving more distance, watching intersections, checking mirrors, paying attention to cars beside me, and trying to look as far down the road as I reasonably can. Because that's when the Gold Wing can start becoming what I bought it to be, a touring motorcycle. A motorcycle I can point towards another state and just go. A motorcycle I can ride for hours without constantly analyzing every movement I make. A motorcycle that eventually becomes less of a challenge and more of a partner in the trip. But I'm not there completely yet. There are still things I want to improve. I still want more low speed practice, more highway riding, more traffic, more night riding, more experience on different roads, eventually mountain riding, and definitely longer trips. But when I compare how I feel on the Gold Wing now to how I felt when I first brought it home, there's no question something has changed. I'm more comfortable and I'm having a lot more fun riding it. So join me in my journey. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.